All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Excited to get into a brand new Cabral concept. We're going to be going over how I doubled my HRV in under 3 years. So this is an exciting one. I believe you can probably do it faster than me because I was learning from scratch, right? So what I was doing was experimenting with a bunch of different things, and I always run these experiments for at least 3 months, 12 weeks. So that means I can only run 4 different experiments a year, and some of them worked, some of them didn't work. What I want to share with you is what worked. Get rid of the ones that didn't work, share with you the ones that absolutely did, and hopefully you can mimic what I did. I'm not going to share with you my exact HRV, and that's very simple, and here's why. Some people, if they have a higher HRV, will say, oh, that's too low. Some people with a lower HRV will like, oh, I will never be able to reach that, right? So HRV, it just stands for heart rate variability. And it is, if you don't know, if you've never heard about heart rate variability is, or what it is, it's literally one of the best ways to discover and find out if your body is doing well in terms of recovery on a daily basis, or is it chronically stressed? So typically, as long as it's multiple days in a row, not just one day, if your HRV is climbing higher, it usually means that you're recovering better. And if your HRV is dropping lower, it typically means your body's more stressed. And HRV, which stands for heart rate variability, is literally the variability in milliseconds between beats of your heart rate, right? So if your heart beats 60 times per second, we'll just say you have a 60 beats per minute, BPM, then that means in between every second interval, right? 1, 2, because it's 60 beats per minute. And that's just, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there, someone's heart rate is in between that second, there are millisecond, there's variability in the heart rate. So the more, believe it or not, variable it is up and down, the stronger the resilience of the nervous system. So we're really looking at the nervous system. For me, I had Addison's disease. Addison's disease is a chronic debilitating disease of the body where the body does not produce cortisol, essentially. And it's not supposed to be overcome. I had primary Addison's disease, ACTH stim test, all that good stuff. And you're not supposed to be over to overcome it. I did. I always share all of this for free inside of my book, the podcast, etc. And I'm always, though, cognizant that my body went through a lot, basically until I was 27 years old. My immune system was destroyed. I had type 2 diabetes, Addison's disease. I had autoimmune issues. And I'm very acutely aware then of not sliding back and, if anything, continuing to improve my nervous system. When I was younger, in my 20s, I had a heart rate variability in the single digits. That's how bad it was. I remember even around the years, like it was in the early 2000s, I used one of the first HRV finger meters. You had to stay perfectly still, and it was these electrodes connected to a device. I think it was through the Heart Math Institute, and my heart variability was deplorable. I mean, people couldn't believe it, but that's because my whole system was shut down, and so my nervous system was dysregulated. Anyway, I worked on that over the years. It got a little bit better as I began to heal, but never great. I set out not too long ago is saying, how can I make it great? Even though I'm in my mid 40s, how can I get that? How can I get better in terms of health and biological age every year? And that's what I've done. And so this has also shown out in the biological age testing. My biological age testing is now, I'm 13 years younger than my chronological age, with a rate of aging at 0.69. I'm continuing to try to see if I can push that even lower. I'm not sure, but I'll keep you updated at highperformancehealth.org, where I share these things. Okay, so I want to go over, though, right now, what I used that worked to help me improve my heart rate variability. The first one was this, breathwork. Believe it or not, simple resonance breathwork 3 times a day for a total of 1 to 3 minutes each time. That's it. You can use this Apple Watch right here that I keep in airplane mode and simply click on the breathwork one and breathe in, watch the circle expand, breathe out, watch the circle contract, breathe in, watch the circle expand, right? So it's just called resonance breathing. You don't need a fancy watch. You don't need anything. You can literally go on YouTube and just type in resonance breathwork or resonance breathing. Don't worry about the box breathing. Don't worry about all the others. Box breathing, for someone like myself, at least in the beginning, could actually cause more stress on my nervous system because of the breath hold. Resonance breathing, there's no hold. It's breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. But it's rhythmic for the body. And it's beautiful. And that immediately, while I'm doing it, I watch my heart rate variability literally double. Does it stay there? No, it comes back down when I go back to normal work. But it's like a thermostat. It starts to set that HRV just a little bit higher. So it helps to re-regulate that nervous system. Okay. The next thing that I did was mouth taping and or nasal strips. All right. For some people with a deviated septum, mouth taping can actually drop their HRV because it's hard for them to breathe, right? So that doesn't always work. For me, I get just as much benefit, believe it or not, out of nasal strips. And I've trained my mouth to stay closed essentially when I'm sleeping. So nasal strips, I have a deviated septum on the right side of my nose. I've broken my nose twice in my life. Once through myself, an accident. And the second one was actually when I was having my adenoids removed when I was 20 or 21 years old. The surgery didn't go well. They had to break one of the bones in my nose. Again, it didn't go well. We'll put it that way. So my very little passageway on the right side of my nasal passages. So a nasal strip while sleeping worked great. And then also improving the angle of my head while sleeping. Again, it goes back to, this is all breathing. It goes back to breathing and having no strain on the nervous system. So making sure when I lie down, very simple, that my head was in alignment. That if you're watching this on video, my head wasn't too low towards the mattress or too high where it was kind of crimped up, which made it more difficult to breathe. So I experimented with a bunch of different pillows, find the right one for me, tried it out over a period of weeks, and improved. The last part while we're on sleeping is the 3-2-1 methodology. Like it really did help. Even though I would enjoy maybe watching like an ESPN 30 for 30 or a little like YouTube video, whatever it is, just to relax the body close to bed. No, I got rid of all that blue light. So I read in bed now right about 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock at night, I try to get into bed. I try to read maybe 9:15, probably more realistic if I'm being honest with you, 9:15, 9:20 at the latest. And then I'm in bed, I'm reading the book. And that again, doesn't involve any blue light. I've got an amber light beside my bed, and that's just what I use. And then what worked tremendously well, like if I can only give you a couple takeaways, stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. I mean, sometimes it happened by accident. I'm like, oh, I didn't eat after 4 o'clock today. Always had an amazing HRV, always. So I have a family. I'm not going to stop eating at 4 p.m. I enjoy dinner. I enjoy food. But I try to stop eating by 6 p.m. So when I get to bed by 9:30, 10, gives me 3 to 4 hours. Impressive what it does for the HRV. All right. So 3-2-1 methodology. I'm going to link up a bunch of podcasts today. StephenCabral.com/3002, 3002. If these are new to you, I'll link up more shows on them. All right. The next thing, I've done these for a while. I've been using liquid melatonin for maybe a decade. I mean, definitely. My body produces massive amounts of dopamine and norepinephrine. And yes, that can be a great thing. It leads me to wake up with a lot of energy, and I'm always going. And my wife will tell you I'm always talking, right? Always. That's who I am. So that's good. The problem is it doesn't always turn off the same way. And so what works really well for my body is a small dosage of liquid melatonin, powerful antioxidant as well for the body. Just knocks that cortisol down, knocks the dopamine, norepinephrine. That's it. Phenomenal. If I don't use liquid melatonin, take a little while to fall asleep. If I use it, I fall asleep within 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, it's unbelievable. If you knew what I was like as a insomniac, you'd be like, that's pretty impressive. For many, many years, I was an insomniac. I also use full spectrum magnesium, a little calming magnesium, and Adrenal Soothe. The Adrenal Soothe, the magnesium are at dinner. The liquid melatonin is before bed. Okay. The next is sleeping slightly chilly. This took a little while to get used to. It really did. So I've got the air conditioning going. Of course, in the winter, you don't necessarily need the air conditioning, but I sleep with a single sheet. That's it. I use my favorite organic bamboo sheets. I put only that sheet over me. My wife uses the big blanket, all that good stuff, and it's at the bottom of the bed. Like I just push it away from me onto her side. If I need it, I'll grab it and I'll put it over half my body. But usually the whole night I go with just that single sheet. Sleeping cold, what does it do? Allows your heart rate to drop down faster and sooner, improving overall recovery. All right, couple more things I added. Cardio, I know. I don't like cardio just like the next person. Some people love it. It's great, right? And you know what? It's one of those things that I'm growing to love. I really am. Only because it's a struggle every day when I run. But I don't run every day. I run 3 times a week. Or I do the bike, but one of those things 3 times a week. And I go for about 40 minutes. I started at 20 minutes, then got eventually up to 30, and now I'm up to 40. And I'm going to do a whole separate show on this because cardio does not come easy to my body. My body's more, I've been pretty good always at lifting weights, more of a fast twitch muscle fiber guy. So slow twitch, endurance, not as much, but I do it. And it took a couple months, maybe 6 to 8 weeks, remarkable improvement in heart rate variability. Remarkable. Took a while to get adjusted to it, but remarkable. All right. And one more that I don't want to go too deep on yet because I just gave you a bunch. Breathwork, the good angle sleeping, mouth taping or nasal strips, 3-2-1 formula for sleep, stopping eating earlier, a couple nutritional supplements before bed, sleeping cold, adding the cardio on top of the weight training, so it's separate. And this one I'm just adding now and starting to see a new change as well. I don't want to go, I'm going to do a separate show on this in about 2 more weeks. I've been using this now for about 4 weeks, so it's too early. I want to wait till the 12 weeks because maybe there's something else, some other variable. This is my only new variable, and I'm going to be testing it with biological age. I started to add in hydrogen water, and this now is potentially helping me with inflammation overnight because that's what hydrogen does. It helps to squelch free radicals because it increases the antioxidants in the water. And that's easy to prove. I mean, I have my own ORP meter. I don't trust anybody. Trust me, like I'm the most skeptical person. Remember, I was sick until 27 years old. Everybody told me they had the answer, right? So I said, okay, great. Sure. Trust, but verify. So I verify. So I have an ORP meter and I'm using a very specific type of hydrogen water that's 400, 500, like a negative 500 ORP for antioxidants. And I'm sleeping better. I almost never have to wake up to urinate during the middle of the night. I feel more recovered in the morning. So again, too early for me to share. Don't want to say that's yet, but that would be one more thing that I'm now adding in, and I'll definitely post more about it. I'll talk about it on the podcast if it ends up being something that I want to share with you and what I'm using for sure. Again, because I'm not ready yet. I take my recommendations very seriously, so I don't want to make a recommendation. I know people are going to ask what I'm using right now. Give me another couple weeks. I want to get through 12 weeks. I've been doing it now about maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 maximum. I got to go back and look, but I keep all of this data. So that's what I've been doing. No doubt about it, because I've done this with clients as well. This can work for you. And if you have other modalities, I would love to hear it because I am a student of this game of life. And if I can continue to improve my nervous system, and I mean, I doubled my HRV. If I can do that again, even if it takes another couple of years, I want to make that happen. So just let me know in the comments if you have additional ways. Would love to hear it. Thanks so much for being a part of this community. As always, do share this show with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.